ever hired a virtual assistant and been disappointed, you are not alone. I hear things like this all the time. Hey, I hired someone from Upwork or Fiverr, but they didn't, I had still had to manage everything, or like they didn't know what I needed, or I ended up doing most of the work myself anyway, or I don't even know what they're doing. I've even heard like, yeah, I've had someone on my team for um, 7 months and I don't even know what they're doing. Okay. So um, if that's been your experience, you might wonder, is it me? And it could be, but we'll talk about that. It's not, it's sometimes it's you, sometimes it's not, sometimes it's the VA, sometimes it's not. So we've got to figure that out. So why do some or a lot of virtual assistant hires fail? And by virtual assistants, I mean really like any offshore person, marketing or biz dev help, um, billing, accounting. So the biggest reason that offshore VAs fall short is a misalignment between your real needs and the role they hire for, and also founders onboarding virtual assistants and then just totally ignoring them. So a lot of founders think that they just need a task doer, but in reality, a lot of times what they could really use is a systems minded operator. And you can find excellent people like that offshore, because what usually happens is people will like scramble for a virtual assistant when they're overwhelmed, behind on tasks, or they don't have a clean onboarding process and or defined SOPs. Then they onboard somebody just kind of willy-nilly, or sometimes they'll just like post a really super vague job description like help me with admin stuff. And so a lot of times people hire someone, but then they just spend more time trying to like kind of in this maze of confusion. And um, and then delegation either turns into like super vagueness or into micromanagement. So can you relate to any of that? I'm Diane Prince. Make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel for tips on, got a lot of tips on working with offshore teams and building your business. So when you ask yourself why your virtual assistant didn't work out, you could ask yourself, like, what outcome was I hiring for? So instead of saying, okay, I need a VA, what are the tasks? Like, what is the outcome? Not the task, but what is the outcome that you're trying to do? Like, one of my clients had $250,000 sitting in collections. Okay. So it wasn't, I need to hire a VA. It needs to start with, okay, I need to collect this money. Okay. You can also ask yourself, like, do I have clear, repeatable systems in place? Do I actually either have a system that they can follow, or can I articulate what I want to happen so that they can create a system for me? Okay. So you can ask, like, was I hiring someone to fix the chaos, which is fine, or to follow a structure that doesn't exist yet? That's also fine, as long as you articulate that you need that person to help you to do that. Okay. Because if you think they're just going to read your minds, they are not. They're human beings. Okay. And also, if you think that all offshore people are alike, they're not. Just like all people in, I don't know, in Arizona are not alike. So there's some people that are going to be mediocre employees, some people that are going to be exceptional, and wherever you find people. Okay. Delegation without structure creates stress for everyone. When I coach startup employees, the most common complaint is they don't know if they're successful. They don't know what the expectations are. So tell people from the beginning what outcome you need. That's how they will know if they're successful in their role. Okay? Because without strategy, when you're onboarding people, just becomes confusion and micromanagement. So when founders succeed with virtual support, and by that I mean any kind of offshore support, it's not because they found the perfect person. Okay. I mean, you can find really good people, right? And that's key. You need to find an exceptional person, but it's also because they articulated their vision. Okay. I don't tell my virtual assistants, okay, do this and this and this and this. I tell them, okay, this is the vision. This is where we're headed. And I need you guys to support me on this and figure it out and create systems. Like, for example, my VAs set up my newsletter, and I wrote it, but they like did all of the mechanics of it, so that if you join my newsletter today, you're getting email number 1. If you joined it last year, you're ready getting email 52. Okay, my VA set up all those details for me. You either start with a system, or for me, I'm not very system oriented. I love working in systems, but I need people to build them for me. So I ask my VAs to help me to make a clear map of recurring responsibilities. I ask my VAs to help me with a documented process. Okay. We define our communication rhythms. I always show up on time for my virtual assistants for our meetings, and we end the meetings on time. I show up for my team with respect for my team, and it makes a giant difference. Okay. So when things like this are in place, and have your team help you with accountability checkpoints. Mine put my to-dos. We use Asana for our project management, and my team puts all my to-dos in there. So sometimes like I wake up in the morning and then I just look at we use Slack. I look at Slack, like, okay, what do I need to do today? Or what emails do I need to answer? And then we use Asana for all the to-dos too. And then bam, 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 we just check them off. Okay. So now we have a system. I'm totally not an organized person, but now I have a clear map of responsibilities. We have documented processes and tools to get them done. We have a defined rhythm of communication, and we have accountability checkpoints that don't rely on my daily involvement. Sometimes even my team meets without me. Well, they do meet without me every week, but they can also handle things when I'm on vacation. They can handle the meetings without me. Okay. So when things like this are in place, people from offshore, virtual assistants can really take ownership, not just take tasks. It's a mindset shift. So people who really scale sustainably, think differently about delegation. Okay. So one of my clients felt guilty about delegating, and then he was like, well, but he's only 23 and I don't want to, I'm like, just delegate to him. And he is a total delegation junkie like I am. And it's not about working harder or hiring faster. It's not about hiring when you just need something urgently done. It's about structuring your business so that when you get help, it actually does help. So think about this. If your first VA didn't work out, don't see it as a failure. Well, maybe it is a failure, but it's also a learning experience, right? Love that platitude, don't you? Okay, so use it as a signal to tighten your systems and redefine the kind of support you need. Ask yourself this: am I trying to find someone to save me from the overwhelm, or someone to run the system I've already built, or whatever? Like, what am I trying to get done by hiring? Is it, for me, some of the things besides my newsletter that my team helps me with, they help me with social media engagement. They tell me where I need to reply or comment or post. They put together my paid ads for me. I mean, they basically do everything except for making content, public speaking, things like that, my coaching. So once you can really answer that honestly, then every hire gets easier once you know what the outcome is that you're looking for. So most VA relationships fail, not necessarily from lack of skill, but from lack of structure. You can ask yourself this. You want to make sure that anyone on your team, that they get it, they understand the job. If not, is that on you or is that on them? Do they want it? Are they motivated to do it? And do they have the capacity to do it? And again, is that on you or is that on them? So I'm Diane Prince. Make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel. I want to make entrepreneurship easier for anyone who wants to start a business. I'll see you soon.